Jaxson Dart was talked about as an elite prospect in this 2025 QB draft class, and that take was doubled down on when the Giants took him in the first round. But I don't agree with Jaxson Dart being a first round quarterback or elite prospect. He honestly was mediocre in my eyes. But it's not as straightforward for me as him being a bad quarterback with flaws being clearly ignored, because there is a lot to like about Jaxson Dart. What's more is there's a troubling concern that could undermine much of his collegiate success. So in this video, we'll be looking at what he does really well, what could be the driving factor in his success, and what my concerns are with his game, which is what we'll start with first. One of the issues in Jaxson Dart's game is something he could improve on at the NFL level. The concern is that in this Ole Miss offense, he is throwing these a lot and consistently. And if he is throwing these a lot, then he has had plenty of time to work on this, that being deep ball accuracy. The play we're going to look at in particular takes place in the fourth quarter of having the lead 20-16. Now Jaxson Dart is going to have a chance to put this game away, or at least put the heat on LSU. We're looking at a 4-2-5 defense, with the coverage looking like a cover 3 variation, but switching to arguably cover 4. Now this is a prime opportunity for a deep ball despite the cover 4, with the safety being far too shallow. I also like to point out this receiver being fairly wide open for some yak. And Dart's going to get an absurdly clean pocket with plenty of time and a clear wide open throw. And Dart's going to load up and throw this ball, with it being thrown too short and intercepted. Honestly, there's just no excuse for this to happen. I don't feel like it's an arm strength issue, because there's plenty of throws where he overthrows it badly, which this next example will be, except against Georgia. Coverage appears to be cover 6 pre-snap. Dart is going to fake the snap, look to see a receiver gain the breakaway speed, and has a comfortable pocket to work with. And he overthrows this again. I don't know if it's a mechanics thing with either his throwing motion or possibly footwork, but it's a problem though that needs to be fixed to succeed at the NFL level. It's like whenever he has to place a ball in front of a receiver, he just struggles. I'm not saying he never hits it, but for most of the time he does actually miss it. I just expect after that amount of time being in this system for him to be really good at throwing deep, which again, he has the arm strength to do so. The other problem I have with Jaxson Dart is dependent on what your expectations are for him. The Giants are expecting him to be a franchise guy, which I think he can be, but a franchise guy and an elite quarterback are different. And that's ultimately what I am evaluating for. And I'm not sure about him being an elite quarterback, because when you look at elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now, all of them have something special about them that they do at an elite level. So with Mahomes, it's his out of structure play. Allen, again, out of structure play. Lamar of his running ability. Burrow of his elite processing, you get it. What's more is elite quarterbacks are generally good at everything else, or they do something else really well. Like Burrow is amazing in pocket maneuvering, something you saw him doing arguably at elite level last year. Allen has his elite arm strength, and Mahomes has proven to be able to adapt to a poor situation around him. With going through Dart's film, he really doesn't have one elite thing that he does exceptionally, and I spent probably too much time looking. His throw on the run is not bad. It's not elite either. It's really hit or miss, and I would just say it's average. His arm strength is good, but not really good. He lacks velocity at times, and his arm talent is, I would just say, average, which leads processing. Now, an argument can be made that his processing is elite, because once he sees it, he throws it, and it's better than all the other guys in this draft class. But there's a catch to it, and this leads us to what could be the driving factor in Jaxson Dart's success and making life significantly easier for him and is propping him up. Jaxson Dart basically spent his collegiate career with Lane Kiffin, whose system in simple terms is pretty cookie cutter for a quarterback, and while not a like for like in terms of scheme, it is QB friendly to a similar effect that Kyle Shanahan's system has for quarterbacks. We saw what Jimmy G was when he left Shanahan's system to go play for the Raiders. It's not to say that Jaxson Dart will be bad, he just leaves a part in the analysis of him that is essentially a unanswerable question in how good is he truly, and we won't know until he actually plays for the Giants. The other great thing for the system that Lane Kiffin runs, but not so great for Dart when analysts and scouts are trying to evaluate him, is how easy it is to make reads. When you're going through Dart's film, you see him looking to only one side of the field for reads. This isn't an absolute just what you see on a regular basis, and at the NFL level, a quarterback needs to be able to make full field reads, as only reading one side of the field is only part of the equation. It's why guys like Zach Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Mitch Trubisky didn't work out, because they had processing issues and they needed a good scheme to prop them up. Lots of RPOs, lots of play action, you get it. Additionally, there is something alarming you see when you dive into the types of plays that Jaxson Dart was actually running at Ole Miss. That being 2/5 or 40% of the plays ran by him were not screens RPOs, or play action. That means 60% of all the plays he ran were screens, RPOs, and play action. The number of plays at the NFL level that he's going to run that are not RPOs, screens, or play action, and especially in this Giants offense, is going to be a lot higher. He likes to have real success offensively unless you're with a elite play caller, which I'm not hating Brian Dable, but I don't think he's McVay or Shanahan or even Ben Johnson. But it's naturally going to be harder for Dart because he isn't used to running plays under center or playing drop back and throw offense, which he can learn. But what doesn't help his case is that when you look at his film and see plays where it's him dropping back to pass under center, he gets kind of stuck if his first read isn't there. My point is not to say that this is a guarantee he can't run an NFL offense or he's a one read only quarterback. Only to point out that it is a question that with the current evidence of his film, it's just not helping his case. Now, that was a lot of negative, and I want to emphasize I don't hate Jaxson Dart. There's a lot to like about his game. He has good arm strength, not elite, I would say better than average. He has good understanding and overall sense of when to throw with touch and when to put some heat on it, which some guys in class can't do. But there's three things in particular that I feel Jaxson Dart does really well, which at the NFL level, it is becoming really important traits. And at the very least, two of these things will be what helps him make it in the NFL. Starting with what every GM and their mom is looking for. Jaxson Dart is a serious threat in the run game. He might not look like it, but watching his film, he loves to scamper off for long runs if there's space to, and there's a sizable amount of plays called for him to just to take off and run. And he did so really well. It's not necessarily electric, but it doesn't need to be. His running style, which changed from his junior to his senior year, but reminded me a lot of John Elway in the classic YouTube highlight of Elway plowing into defenders and bulldozing them, which I saw a lot during his junior year, and I was a little concerned about how well that would go at the NFL level. But during his senior year, I noticed him being a lot more wise of his running style, from trying to plow over linebackers every time to being more calculated, using the sideline more, a lot like Jayden Daniels was at the end of this last season. It's going to also be helpful at the NFL level because it's one more thing defenses are going to have to worry about when facing him. So that will lighten up the load that he takes on from a throwing and processing standpoint, as defenses will have to adjust the coverages they run to contain him, which usually means a defender spying him, and that means one more defender not covering the back end. The other thing he does really well, and I feel it's the one great thing that he's going to have ingrained in him leaving this Lane Kiffin system, which is when Dart sees it, he throws it. Again, this isn't an absolute for the one viewer who goes out and tags you on Twitter of one play showing him not throwing immediately. Anyhow, it's the best of this class though. It's far better than Cam Ward or Shadir Sanders, even Tyler Shuck, whom I really like. A lot of quarterbacks take that pause, even if it's short, before actually throwing the ball, and Dart doesn't do that. Once he's landed on where he wants to go with the ball, he slings it immediately. This is only going to help him at the NFL because of two things. One being quick game. What is considered open in the NFL doesn't stay open for long, so being able to pull the trigger instantly is going to make him look good. But it's also going to help him when reading the whole field by applying that same mentality of if it isn't there, move on to the next read immediately. It's taking that same mindset and applying it in a similar application. The final thing, and this is going to be a big one because I feel personally we will see quarterbacks doing more and more of this as time goes on, especially with quarterbacks getting better at not putting the ball in harm's way, that being back shoulder throws. Jaxson Dart is incredible at back shoulder throws. And the game that really stood out to me was against Penn State. He was constantly going at it, attacking the man coverage deployed by Penn State, and he was very successful at doing just that. With the NFL going to cover one more, it provides obviously that one-on-one opportunity. The catch is, even if the receiver isn't beating the corner for what is a go ball, he can decelerate and come back with the ball, which usually is less risky than a straight up 50-50 go ball. If Jaxson Dart ran a pro style offense, then I would have a more decisive prediction on him because he checks the boxes physically and mentally as well with the see it, throw it mentality. This is something that Justin Fields doesn't have, and that's probably why Fields hasn't worked out yet. But what about a guy who just re-aggravated a shoulder injury and might be on his way out with the Colts? Should the Colts stick with Anthony Richardson or not? You can check out the video here, or if you want more 2025 rookie quarterback analysis, you can check out this playlist here. And before you leave a comment down below on your thoughts on Jaxson Dart, and leave a like on the video. If you want to support me more, you can buy me a coffee, the link down in the description. And if you need a hoodie, check out Comfort Hoodies. Seriously, they're great hoodies. Check them out, link below. Have a great day.